Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Timothy here with Mana Rocks. This is the final episode of By Force for Ravnica Allegiance, and with that being said, we've done all the guilds. The wheel decided that they would save best for last, and we're going to draft the Gates deck. Now, the Gates deck is notorious for being kind of broken or easy to get, is probably the better way to put it, on Arena, because the bots do not value the Gate cards very highly. So the main cards we're going to be looking out for are A, Gate Colossus, which we've drafted in a lot of videos, but it's going to be at its best in this one. Gatebreaker Ram and Gates Ablaze are kind of secondary cards. Archway Angel and Gateway Sneak are our tertiary cards, Open the Gates being good as well. And then we're going to try to draft as many gates as possible and as many good removal spells and creatures, like multicolor creatures, removal spells, mana fixin, and gate payoffs is kind of where we want to be. I swear to God, if we draft this and we do not open a Colossus after getting Colossus in basically every other draft, I'm going to be a little bit cheesed. But let's go ahead and jump in. By Force Gates coming up. Remember, before we get into our draft, to like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to tell me how you feel about By Force, if it's something I should continue doing for further sets, if it's possible. You know, if they're archetype-driven sets, then I'll continue to do it. And yeah, just feel free to chime in. Subscribe below. I love to hear from you guys. Find us on Twitter at MTG_ManaRocks. And check out the channel here on YouTube for more content weekly. So with all that being said, let's draft some gates. All right. Pack 1 coming up. So if we don't see a gate payoff, and we don't see a particularly strong rare or good removal spell, we're probably just going to take the gate. So I'm probably going to lead off right away with Azorius Guild Gate. Savage Smash is probably the best card in the pack. There's also Cry of the Carnarium. A little bit awkward, too, the black cards in particular, because the gate decks end up usually being like Temur or Esper, and there's no black gate payoff, so a lot of times you don't need to prioritize a lot of black mana. I'm just going to snag a gate here. Follow up with probably another gate. Again, no compelling removal spell, no strong rare, no particularly good uncommon. Gate it is. I do not advise doing this in a real life draft, by the way, since this does not work out the same way in real life that it does in Arena. Starting off with 3 gates and a whole lot of nothing. These have not been strong packs. There's like nothing in these packs that I'm even that interested in to start with. Give me a payoff. All right, I will take a Grasp and Thrall. Grasp and Thrall is quite nice. We're looking for strong gold cards in addition to just gates. I don't mind Carrying Imp or Sky Tether here. I think I'm going to take the Sky Tether right away. Just keep ourselves alive. Pretty easy Azorius Guild Gate. Drill Bit's fine. None of these other cards are even really that good, remotely playable. Looks like we might be going down the Esper route. And I guess Vampire here. Alright, this is not a good first pack for gates. No payoff, no strong cards outside of Grasp and Thrall. Basically a whole lot of nothing. I'm going to take Twilight Panther, since it looks like we're going to specialize in Esper colors. 5 gates coming out of pack 1, though. That's something. Take a Clear the Mind, take a Thought Collapse, and take a Locket, 10th District, and a blank. Alright, going into the next pack, we see a Lawmage's Bind in here, a Summary Judgment. There's a Gruul Spellbreaker, which is fine, but we're probably trying to play the control game, not the beatdown plan. There's also Pitiless Pontiff, which is fine. I think I want the removal spell, so I'm going to take Lawmage's Bind and over Summary Judgment. Here's a Gateway Sneak. That's quite nice. I'm going to go ahead and take the Sneaky Boy. Exactly what we're looking for. There's Grotesque Demise. This pack's a lot better. Grotesque Demise, wouldn't mind Prying Blade. Imperious Oligarch's a little bit better now that we know we're probably going down Esper route. Also Arrester's Admonition. But we're forcing gates, so we're going to take the gate payoff. Ooh, here we go. Hero of Precinct 1 is kind of what I'm looking for. Really pays you off for casting these gold spells. Makes cards like Viscopa Vampire better in your deck. There's also a Sphinx, which I think is generally an overrated card, but if you need a finisher, you need a finisher. Hero seems perfect, though. Depose Deploy is a nice follow-up to the Hero and just a generally good card for us to have here. Gruul Guild Gate is probably as far away from the gate plan as we want to get, and then there's Slimebind Quench, which are fine as well. Okay. Sauriform Hybrid's the best card in the pack. There's Ministrant, Swirl and Torrent, Azorius, Night Arbiter. This is less of a Night Arbiter deck, probably more of a Swirl and Torrent deck. I like the Ministrant too, but I'm going to take the good late game spell. Essence Capture, Simic Guildgate, Prying Eyes, Vampire. Kind of want Essence Capture here. Like, if we cut Drill Bit, what are we? We're basically Azorius, Splash and Black, with 1 gate payoff currently. Not quite where I want to be. But we're going to play the heavy control game. Oh, look at this pack. Wall Mage's Bind and Grasp and Thrall. I don't mind Eyes Everywhere, but usually don't play it. And then Fairy Duelist. Do we want another Binding or another Thrall? Probably just want another Thrall, right? Thralls are very good. High Alert. This is not a High Alert deck. Sadly, we had High Alert last time and it wasn't great. Can take Azorius Guildgate. Followed by Simic Guildgate. Could take Skitter Eel as well. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to take Simic Guildgate. Nice. Wheel Arrester's Admonition here. Alright, Sphinx, huh? Sphinx could be a finisher. I don't think you need the Sphinx, though, if you've got, like, double Grasp and Throw and a couple more flyers. So this is either Consign or Admonition, and since we're base blue, I can take Admonition. Quench and Slimebind as well. Take Slimebind. Take Slimebind. That makes me wish I had Quench. And Fairy Duelist, last pick. Disrespectful. Alright, still no gate payoff. No Gatebreaker Ram, no Colossus, no Gates Ablaze, no Angel. So Sphinx of New Prov, Teysa are the cards we're looking at, with Windstorm Drake being a pretty lowly 3rd pick. I think it's just going to be the Sphinx here. Teysa doesn't do very much for us. We don't have death triggers. I guess it gives our tokens lifelink, so the hero gets a little bit better. Deploy gets a little bit better, but outside of that, it's not great. I'm going to take Sphinx of New Prov. Nothing. Guess Viscopa Vampire number 2. The very Gruul pack here, Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Gruul cards. Yeah, let's take this Vampire, although I don't love it. Chillbringer, huh? Chillbringer's great. Applied Biomancy is also good. Sucks to start off with 5 gates and then not really see anything else after that. So here we could take Orzhov Guildgate or Sphinx's Insight. I'm going to take Insight. Followed by another Sky Tether. Just win in the air. Looks like we're just drafting Azorius, not even really drafting gates. Look, another Chillbringer too, jeez. Another Sphinx of New Prov. And Gateway Plaza. Look, I'm forcing gates, but we didn't get any of the payoffs. Like, no angels? Seriously? Where are my angels? I'm going to take Sphinx. Might have to run this back for a second go. Gates number 2. Shimmer of possibility. Simic Locket. Take Shimmer. I mean, our deck looks good. I'm not going to lie. Slimebind number 3. Sure. Probably won't play all of them. Justiciar's Portal. Skittereel's decent. Petitioner. I wonder if I should do a bonus video for Petitioners or for Petitioners or Goblin Gathering. That seems like it could be fun. Well, alright. We started off with 5 gates. We ended up with 6, and we have 1 gate payoff. Gateway Sneak. Clear the Mind, I think, is going to not make the cut here. Do not need 2 Sky Tethers and a Slimebind. In fact, I'm probably going to start 1 and 1. Don't need Shimmer if I'm making cuts. 10th District Veterans, kind of whatever. Locket we probably don't need. We don't need all these Viscopa Vampires either. We've got a lot of good high-end creatures, but this is not really a Gates deck. It wants to be a Gate deck. I mean, I don't even know if it's right. Yeah, it's probably right to play Simic Guildgate with the Gateway Sneak in the deck. Grasp and Throw as well. We definitely don't need 3 Swamps for 2 black cards. Probably cut at least 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This gives us what? 4, 9 blue sources, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I'm sorry, 10 and 10, which is pretty good. And we get to kind of run the 2 swamps in there. Still need to cut 3 cards. I don't think it's any of these. Probably Skitter Eel. Oh, yeah, let's get rid of some Viscopa Vampires. And Skitter Eel's better than District, but we got a lot of 4s. Twilight Panther could probably go here. The black activation's not going to come up that often. Alright, well, we got us a nice little Esper deck. Not really a Gates deck, but we'll go ahead and run it and see how it does and see if we can kind of weasel our way into thinking that we're a Gates deck. Look, I forced it as best we can. We just didn't see a Colossus or a Ram. Didn't even see an Arcway Angel. Like, Angel would be pretty good in this deck. But sadly, we are but an Esper deck. Anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it. We might do a bonus draft here. If I hear from people that they want to see a bonus draft, another Gates deck draft, then I'll do another one. But I need to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to re-roll the dice on this one and do another Gates draft. Or if you want to see a Petitioner or Goblin Gathering deck, let me know and I'll try to force that as well. But anyway, we're going to play this kind of pitiful Gate deck, which ended up just being a good Esper deck, and see how it does. So we've already drafted. Let's go ahead and do our matches. See you in match 1. Match 1 with our quote-unquote Gates deck. I think on the draw I can keep this hand. It needs to draw another blue source to be great, and needs to draw a 3rd land in general just to be good. That was not the card we wanted to see, not having the black mana. But we've got Sky Tether for something early. We can hopefully trade off Vampire. Don't really want to Sky Tether that. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and depose that and cycle to try and hit our 3rd land. Not really where I want to be, but saves us a little bit of damage. We need to hit lands to be relevant in this game, since our opponents always have the turn 5 Grasp and Throw, and we cannot, for the life of us, ever just curve out and have a good hand and draw lands and cast spells. That's all I want. Guildgate's fine here. Probably Sky Tether that thing. Tether them up. This is just to kind of use my mana. I'll play the Vampire next turn. If I had drawn a basic land, I would obviously just play Vampire. But I don't mind trading off Vampire for my opponent's Impassioned Orator if they want to attack. Ooh, they're going Orjov aggro. So they're going to gain a lot of life, but I've got a lot of good late game against them. I still need to draw lands. If they attack with basically anything that's not Plague White, I'll go ahead and block with Viscopa Vampire. They don't have lands in their hand, though, so I'm assuming they're on all Grotesque Demises and answers to anything I can play, and I'm just going to die to a bunch of dorks. Okay. Could be a number of different tricks here. Sentinel's Mark. Oh, Arrester's Zeal. Sure. So I don't take any damage this turn, and Arrester's Zeal doesn't threaten me too much. But I'm back to drawing basically nothing. Alright, that was a good draw. Let's go Skitter Eel and pass. Just put something on the board that can block this Orator still. I would trade for Plague White here as well, I think. Just the less creatures my opponent has, the less I get affected by creatures like the Loxodon. Alright, now if they attack with everything... Oh, they gave the Orator +1. I think I just block the Orator. This thing... If I play a 3-3, I'm going to be able to deal with the Orator anyway. Alright, let's get Plague White off board. Land would be great. No, no such luck. Sphinx's Insight means I'm taking 3, 4, 5, 6. Just play a blocker here. I don't feel good about how this is going, missing land drops. My opponent's missing land drops, but they're playing a deck that can function off of it regardless. While Mage's Binding's probably going to go on that. If they attack with Hazda Officer, I will block. Attack with anything else, I'll block that instead. There's a chance they don't attack with the Officer here. Alright, what can I do for you, Officer? Block. Alright, land for Chillbringer? Yes, ooh, land for Grasp and Throw, huh? Is it better to go Grasp and Throw or Chillbringer? You know, I think I'm going to go Chillbringer. Go ahead and lock down Senate Griffin, and then next turn, Grasp and Throw. If I draw into a land, I can hold up Wall Mage's Binding plus Thought Collapse. which is going to be good when my opponent hits their 5th mana. I assume they're sitting on like a throw or something like that. They did hit their 5th mana. So 5 drops unlocked here. Yeah, you get me with the Twilight Panther. You got me. Opponent had an obscenely high life total due to this Orator. Thralls. Alright, well let's just start casting a bunch of Thralls. And I think I attack my opponent here. Gonna trade my Thrall for their Senate Griffin. Or if they block with the Syndicate Messenger, I'll block that instead. Gotta work on their life total a little bit, and I'm probably casting another Thrall. I've got 4 life in hand between these 2 cards. Just need to get to the point where I'm stable. And I would say I'm reasonably stable here. Attack with everything, that's not good. Let's go ahead and block here. Suspecting some sort of trick again. Another Arrestor Zeal, I'm assuming. Oh, Sentinel's Mark. It gets me every time. There's no block I could have had that made Arrestor Zeal not bad for me. If I'd blocked Twilight Panther, they would have gotten me with that as well. So here, I like the idea of going Wall Mage's Binding on this. Maybe just play another Thrall. I mean, I'm stable here, but my opponent's getting me. They have 1 card in hand, though. Hopefully it's not Ethereal Absolution, otherwise I'll cry. They would play it pre-combat if they had it. Alright, Twilight Panther getting in there. So I have the option to trade here or double block Orator. Don't think there's much that blows me out here. Grotesque Demise, but they would cast that pre-combat, I think. I like going here. Just because I want to Wall Mage's Binding something that doesn't have value on board. Gonna take 4 down to 8 this turn. And it's just my measly little Thrall. Jeez, now I feel like I have to... am I gonna draw basic? Draw basic, please. Draw basic. You owe me. You owe me! What did I say? You owe me. Oh my god. We didn't draw basic there, so going for that Sphinx's Insight probably messed us up. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna die to a bunch of Dirtles from just not hitting my lands on time. What am I doing? Blocking this. Yep. Taking 6. Playing Wall Mage's Binding, plus I guess I can Chillbringer if I draw land. Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. That was just the one draw I can't deal with. Alright. God. Frustrating. I hate Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It's 4 mana, you don't have to work for your win. Alright, I like Sky Tether here. Slimebind's probably decent. No answer to whatchamacallit, Portal. Portal's probably good with my big creatures. They use a pump spell. I'll consider it. I'm probably not going to play it. Vampire seems horrendous. I just needed to hit mana. That's all I needed. Why deck? Yeah, let's not play Portal. And then, sure. Sky Tether just seems better than Slimebind here. Run it back for game 2. Oh god. Alright, we're back for game 2. Hopefully this is the hand that draws all of our 5 drops. Very Duelist. Unfortunately, they didn't show us a lot of 1 toughness creatures, so I don't think we're going to get them with the Duelist. But I think it's going to be fine. Just always 1 step behind our opponent last game, and then the Inheritance comes down, and it's just like, oh, well, I guess I win. Har, har, har. Panther, sure. Gateway Sneak is reasonable card here. I'm not going to use my Duelist on this Twilight Panther, though. I think it'd be a little bit better later on. Just a little bit. Orator coming down. And let's get sneaked on. Never mind, I'm going to play Gateway Sneak next turn, so I might as well just negate some damage here, even if it's a small amount. Alright, Sphinx of New Prov is great. Unfortunately, I didn't play my mana in a way that I can cast it next turn. So this won't come down till turn 5. Guild Gates are my best friend right now. Not sure why I didn't attack with Duelist there. Yeah, Guild Gates for my sneak would be quite nice here. Quite nice. Not blocking anything that attacks this turn. Yeah, playing the Swamp there. I guess I forgot I had 2 of these in my deck, so it's not right to play the Swamp there. Okay, Officer doesn't change too much here. I'm still not blocking. I guess I can free roll the block on the Panther here, so they're going to get in the same amount of damage as they would have anyway. Alright, Orzhov Guild Gates, sweet draw. Good draw. So let's go ahead and jam with Gateway Sneak. And then let's see what we draw first. Rester's Admonition. So I think I just cast this turn on what the Officer. They replay to get some value off of me. Just a little bit. But if they replay that, they're only hitting me for 3. Next turn I go Sphinx plus Sky Tether. Sure. Sure. Alright, deploy's pretty good, I think. Don't hate where I'm at here. I'm up 2 cards, down some damage. Alright, them not attacking with the Panther means that they don't want my Gateway Sneak to come in. Although they're probably going to play a blocker. Hopefully no Inheritance here. I just do not feel comfortable playing against that card. Okay, into Watchdog, sure. None of these are that good against the Sphinx, though. So I have blue, white. I need to play an island. And we'll go Sphinx. Oh, I cannot Sky Tether this turn, though. I think with Deploy, I can afford to not block as well and just not run into any combat tricks of some sort. Fairy Duelist probably just isn't blocking anything as it is. Nah, I mean, we'll leave the Duelist back. Resolute Watchdog always makes me think my opponent's playing High Alert, but that's not very likely here. And also, this card's just good without High Alert. I don't know why people don't like the Resolute Watchdog. The card's good. Alright, can we get them to use a combat trick here? If I block Gateway Sneak on this, no, I'm just going to take the damage. I don't think I need to throw away my creatures into an Arrestor Zeal or something like that. Clearly they didn't play this pre-combat because they wanted something up, 2 mana at least. They could have cast that into Arrestor Zeal though, so I'm not sure what gives there. Alright, Slimebind's fine. Let's run out blue. I think we're going to go Deploy plus Slimebind here. And I'm going to attack with my Duelist. Yeah, so now Gateway Sneak can go ahead and jump in front of something. If they want to use a combat trick, I'll Slimebind that one. For instance, Sneak can just go ahead and block Oligarch. Alright, now they can go Officer plus 2 mana trick. A little risky to block with the Sphinx, though. Could also cast Deploy and then set up double blocks. Alright, let's block. So I can block like here and then Sphinx here. And then eat their guy. They're going to use a trick on this Impassioned Orator. Oh, Blade Brand. Okay, I mean, that works just as fine, right? Still get to shrink it here. They get to cycle. They're going to lose their Orator. Or they can make it so they lose their Watchdog instead. But this isn't that bad. Plus, I get to kill their Oligarch over here. They're going to keep Orator around for the cost of their Watchdog. Seems fine. Maybe. Opponent's got some choices here, it seems. They might be thinking if they keep their Orator around, then they're not going to be able to cast a 3-drop because they have to use a mana for that. So it looks like we get to Nom Nom the Orator. Sure. And let's see what they follow up with. Hazda Officer. Sure. Let's go ahead and, I guess, let that resolve, and then we'll deploy. Still don't really see anything we need to use Sky Tether on. We're going to go up to 12 this turn. And we haven't drawn any Grasp and Throws or Chillbringers. We have 4 each of those in the deck. Thought Collapse is a nice draw here. Actually, very nice draw. So we can attack with that for sure. Probably attack with 2 of these. And then Sky Tether the Officer. Yeah, I like this attack. I don't know if Sky Tether on the Officer is really that great. Ooh, I like them just getting this stupid thing out of the way. That means if they draw a Restor Zeal, they can't use this plus a Restor Zeal to take care of the Sphinx. Let's go ahead and just lock this down. Can't really block Plague White. I can block Plague White with the same creatures that could block an Officer, but this deals less damage if I don't block it. We'll Thought Collapse almost anything that can get through our creatures here. And again, gates are good draws. Any of our 5-power flyers are good draws. Swirl and Torrent would be amazing here. Bloodmist Infiltrator. No thank you. That's like an actual clock with some of their dorky creatures. Not really feeling it. Milled 3 creatures as well. Jeez, yeah, opponent's definitely all in Azorius aggro, or Orzhov aggro. They can attack with Panther and Plague White here. And I'm not blocking either of them. Could double block Twilight Panther, but that seems really bad. Especially if I'm playing around a Restor Zeal. Alright, Guildgate, 1 card in hand. We drew a blank, unfortunately. Can't really attack with Gateway Sneak either, so let's go boom boom. Swinging 5 back at them. So we're swinging our 5 to their 3. We should win this race. Draw like 1 more spell maybe would be nice. God, come on. Throw off the top is not what we wanted to see there. Yeah, throw off the top's very annoying. Just 2, no, we're not blocking that. If I draw a gate, I would rather attack with my sneak here. Down to 4. Come on, give me a Grasp and Throw. Give me my Throw. Alright, Sky Tether's a fine draw, but it doesn't really deal with these little dorky creatures. So 1, 2, 3. This puts us our opponent on a 2-turn clock, so they got to draw something that blocks a flyer or kills one of our flyers. Or I guess deals 2 extra damage to us. I'm probably just blocking Plague White here with Gateway Sneak. That way I don't die to a Restor Zeal. But got fingers crossed. God, come on, opponent. You can't just draw the best card every time. Give me a Chillbringer, please. Chillbringer, Grasp and Throw, anything. Alright, I'm not blocking here. If they have a Restor Zeal, oh my god, they have it. You serious? You're serious. Sentinel's Mark. Wow. Wow, I can't believe we lost that match. To a Twilight Panther and a Plague White. I wish I could check my next card. I really could. We're down a match to that? To that? just because my deck didn't want to draw my cards. My opponent drew perfect there too. It was Grasp and Throw to gain some life, and then another flyer, and then the win con. They probably had Sentinel's Mark in hand for a little while there, but wow, I did not think we were going to lose to that. Just one more relevant draw in basically any card from our deck, and we have that match. Oh well, guess we'll start off with a loss. See you in match 2. Alright, we'll keep this. A little disheartened by that first match. Feel like we should be really good against just like an aggro deck in general, but no. Our deck did not want to give us any of our late game stuff there. I think even one Chillbringer, one Thrall, one of basically anything gets us there. Let's go and run out Simic Guildgate. And then next turn we'll play a basic. Guess we should have ran out Azorius Guildgate, again giving us the opportunity to play the turn 4 Sphinx. See what 2-drop our opponent has here. None. Okay. Do you have a Quench? They always have the Quench. It'd be great if they just this one time didn't have the Quench, though. Growth Spiral, sure. It's not quite a Quench. Teamer. Okay. Perfect color Teamer, too. Can I draw perfect? I guess I drew all my colors. No, wait, I don't have black. I do not have black. I am going to get to draw with this Gateway Sneak, though. Ooh. Ooh. So, I think I go... I might as well just go Guildgate here so I can play that Sphinx next turn. But I'm wondering if I go Arrester's Admonition on the dude. I would like to go Arrester's Admonition plus Essence Capture it. But we'll see what we draw. If we draw a creature, we won't. If not, we're just going to go and bounce. And then we'll play Sphinx of New Prov next turn. Skatewing Spy is pretty good here. Could see a Rendhorn instead or something like that this turn. Bullrack, Clan Crusher, Combine Guildmage, sure. Interesting choice. I do think I would rather just play Grasp and Thrall here, though. I could also play Vampire plus hold up Essence Capture. That doesn't seem bad. Yeah, they played this Guildmage for a reason, right? So let's hold up Essence Capture this turn. Put a counter on probably just Gateway Sneak. Ooh, if they activate Guildmage and then cast a creature, they could play a land, activate Guildmage, and then cast a Skatewing Spy, which might be their plan since it'll come down with the counter. This is going to be pretty good. Counter basically anything here. We're going to get to put a counter on probably just the Sneak. That way it attacks through Guildmage and further turns. This puts us very far ahead, though. Let's go ahead and attack. We get to draw a card. Sphinx's Insight. All right, let's play Grasp and Thrall here. Uses the most mana. All right. Skatewing Spy is good, but that was a risky play to do into open mana. Looks like they're going to go Guildmage into something else again. Alright. Into a 4-drop. Axebane Beast. Not bad. Not bad. Let's go and go... I guess we just play Sphinx here. I guess if we go Sphinx's Insight and draw a whatchamacallit, that's pretty good though, a gate, but I would rather just get another flyer on board, I think. My opponent's best play last turn was Axebane Beast. And then next turn we're going to go Sphinx's Insight into potentially a 4-drop. It's going to be hard for him to kill this Sphinx as well. We have 2 very good flyers on board. I mean, a Mammoth Spider would be pretty strong here, but opponent's getting a little cute with the Combine Guildmage, it seems like. They might not have the option to cast 2 spells instead, but if the best they're going to do is play like an Axebane Beast, I'm not worried about it. Mammoth Spider again, I think, would be one of the worst things my opponent could play. Sure, Lizrog has a, 7/7 trample. It's not going to beat what we have here. especially when my Gateway Sneak will be able to block Axebane Beast this turn. Yeah, I don't think this does it. If I draw a Gate, they're dead. If I draw a Bounce spell, they're dead. Since the Gate would make this unblockable. And we got 3 shots at a Gate. And how many in the deck? 5. Let's go ahead and Insight. While Mage's Binding will do it. And just attack with everything, and that is lethal. Okay. Alright, alright. Oh, I guess Chillbringer was also an out there. Yeah, we have a billion outs there. Sure. Boom. Alright, nice game plan. Nice game. Opponent's got Simic. Wizarog, not normally a card I'm worried about. Especially with a bunch of bounce spells in my deck. Slimebind, probably pretty good against this opponent. Sky Tether is also probably just pretty good against this opponent. It's just a cheaper version of Slimebind that we can't instant speed. I like the Admonitions. Don't really love the Vampire. Probably cut a Skitter Eel as well if we wanted to just lower the curve a little bit. Skitter Eel seems a little unimpressive here. Yeah, bring in one more reactive spell for one more. Take out a proactive creature, bring in a reactive spell, but if we can deal with all of our opponent's creatures, then our Flyers will get the job done. Should probably be running the second Sky Tether main board anyway. Anyway, game 2 against T-Peasy coming up. Alright, match 2 against the Simic deck. We get to go Hero into Vampire, which is a nice start. Doesn't take care of big creatures, but we have a Swirling Torrent for a late game. So I don't mind the start. And there's the blue mana right off the bat. Remember, we're not going to play black mana until we need to. We kind of messed that up in match 1. But we have double Sphinx of New Prov in the deck, so it's probably right to run out as much blue and white mana as we can early on. Essence Capture, not at its best here. Opponent with the nice Guildgate into Gateway Plaza start. Big fan of that start. Lets you cast anything in your deck. Do we see any red cards from the opponent? I don't think we did. Alright, here comes Guildmage. So opponent's going to have a good start right from the get-go. And I'm going to get value off of my hero, and then probably attack it into the Guildmage now. They have Stony Strength, they have it, but I'm going to give my opponent the opportunity to trade off their potential combo piece here. And if not, I just free roll 2 damage. Alright, that happens. We get to leave behind a 1-1 out of the deal. Simic Guildgate. Sphinx of New Prov. Unfortunately, can't cast it despite our perfect plays. Let's go ahead and attack. Clean attack with the Vampire feels nice. And run out kind of a junker 3-drop. Basically, any land is good for us here. We want it to be an island, but drawing a land gets us the Chillbringer. Drawing a land gets us closer to this Torrent, and Torrent's going to be really good against an opponent who's behind here. Probably just play a creature that blocks all of our stuff this turn, but if it's like a Skitter Eel or something, we can attack. That comes down as a 3-3. I can still attack the Vampire into it. Nice. Or we can just go Chilly Bee and attack for 6, put our opponent to 10. And this will untap the Vampire. And one more land. If we draw an untap, we should just lock up the game with Swirling Torrent. Gotta watch out for Gates Ablaze, I suppose. But we'll see. Yep, there goes Bullrack Clan Crusher. A Depose Deploy. Sure. So what are we planning on doing with that? We could tap and attack for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, shy of 1 damage. Just play Sphinx of New Prov. Not particularly worried about Clan Crusher since it doesn't kill Vampire. Alright, we're going to attack with Chillbringer only. And then play Sphinx of New Prov and pass the turn. Could force in 3 more damage there, but these are already lethal. My opponent has to deal with one of these flyers, and I still think if I ever draw an untapped 6th mana source, get to crush my opponent. The counter removal here only kills the vampire, which isn't attacking into him anyway. Doesn't really matter because of our life total, and killing the 1/1 is just worse than killing the 3/1, so they can make their wrecker a little bit weaker to kill our vampire. But, I mean, they're just dead to our flyers. I guess this gives them an extra ammo for the Clan Crusher, but it's not going to do the trick here. The tempo game, getting it done. And I guess Chillbringer letting us get that attack in 2 turns ago. Swung it very far in our favor. They're just dead to this. I don't think there's any spell they can even have here. Sure. Just attack with my flyers. It's supposed to be... Oh no, never mind, that's right. Alright, opponent. What you got? Oh, they could have Titanic Brawl. No. No, yeah, I mean, they could have Titanic Brawl. They can't kill the Sphinx that way, though. Okay, sure. I was going to say, we could actually depose this and then attack with everything. That doesn't really change anything. To make sure I get in that 1 extra damage. Yeah, I'm not sure if my opponent had something or not there. Titanic Brawl is the only thing I can think of. But that puts us at 1-1. I really wish I didn't have this loss already because I like our deck a lot. But it happens. And we're going to go to match 3 coming up. Alright, third match up. I really wish I was on the play with this hand. Alright, hopefully no high alert. Let's go and lead off Azorius Guildgate and pass. Do have Vampire into Sphinx into Grasp and Throw. Yeah, definitely a high alert deck. If they just have it, they have it. They could not have it on turn 3, fingers crossed. Ooh, no turn 3 high alert. Turn 4 high alert's just as bad for us. This is 9 damage if they play it. Alright, let's Vampire it up. Pass the turn. Show it to me. Show it to me, opponent. Alright, so we want to run this Sphinx into potential counter magic. High alert decks often play the Thought Collapses and whatnot. I'm going to attack into this Watchdog, though. Looks like they're going to go Fairy Duelist. We could Fairy Duelist back, or we could just use this opportunity to get a Sphinx down. Opponent's on 2 cards. Do we Duelist back here? Duelist plays around Quench. Oh, they go for the double block. Alright, so that settles that. Opponent pretty smart there, I would say. Alright, no Quench. Sphinx is decent here. Fairly hard for them to kill, too. They would need 5 mana to cast something like Arrester's Admonition on it. It's safe from Summary Judgment. No attack. Okay. So that means if I attack, they block, block, block. Or I cast Chilly Bee. Man, this really feels like counter magic. I could go Arrester's Admonition on a Concordia Pegasus. And then I have a pretty good attack. And if they use a counter spell on the Arrester's Admonition, I can use the Fairy Duelist. No, that just happens. Sky Tether as well, huh? Alright, let's go and attack. And pass the turn. Holding up Fairy Duelist here. Fairy Duelist, pretty bad against High Alert. Sky Tether, also pretty bad against High Alert. Humongulous, the telltale sign that your opponent is in fact playing High Alert. Alright, don't think I blow my Fairy Duelist here. Sphinx holding my opponent back quite a bit here, and I get to get down my Grasp and Throw. I could play Sky Tether if I wanted. I don't think it's going to be that good. Opponent's probably just taking 4 again. Now I get to play Grasp and Throw, and then next turn if they play some flyers, I get to play Chillbringer. Chillbringer plus Sky Tether. Alright, there's Pegasus. And a Grotesque Demise on the Grasp and Throw, sure. Alright, so Chillbringer it looks like here. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I think it's still just Chillbringer, though. Get to hold up Duelist now. Chillbringer's going to tap down a Pegasus. Actually, tap down Duelist, because I'd rather them chump with the 1/3s than the 1/2 if they're at the point where they feel like they've got a chump. They could also block and save a creature with the Resolute Watchdog, so they've got quite a few chumps. I'm surprised they're taking 4 here. That Watchdog is not going to do anything. And at this point, I think I can just beat High Alert. It doesn't feel like they have it anyway. Playing around counter spells that the opponent might not have. And we just get to steal the game. High Alert, no match for 4/3 Fly and Vigilance. Alright, so Sky Tether's not good here. Slimebind and Sky Tether seem a lot worse. Vampire seems a little bit better, but it's so bad against like Night Arbiters and stuff like that. Twilight Panther seems a little bit better here. If you can activate it, you get to just jam into their guys. And then the Portal, we haven't seen much from the opponent. Maybe I keep in like 1 Sky Tether. Just 1 seems like a decent hedge here. Okay. Yeah, let's run it back like that. Again, we've got a lot of late game power. We don't run into just like the turn 3 nuts High Alert draw, then we should be okay. Alright, easy mulligan. Opponent also mulliganed. Fine by us. This is better, but not amazing. It's a little bit slow. It's obviously too slow against a High Alert draw. Schlegel Bagel there. I don't think Sky Tether is what we want to draw here. We want to draw lands, particularly black sources, and interaction. Sphinx, oh god. Well, I wish I had Sky Tether now. Two top, 1 bottom. They already knew about one of those cards, though. Alright, well, the Essence Capture is a great draw there. Gives us something to do with that Sphinx. Okay, here comes the Pegasuses. Alright, let's go sneak. Oh, wait, yeah, we definitely can't do that. And then next turn, we've got the choice between Sneak or Guildgate into turn 4 Sphinx. And I think we're just going to play Sneak. Although our opponent can run out this Sphinx. Alright, they have the Sphinx, they have it. Let's see if they've got the counter magic this time. They also need specifically another blue source for the Sphinx. Grotesque Demise, fine, sure. No blue source, but they do have a Locket. So what do we do here? Okay, Wall Mage's Binding makes that pretty easy. Also, I don't have a play, so we're going to let the Sphinx resolve, and then Wall Mage is binding it, I think. No, they're going to get a Scry every turn, though. Yeah, never mind. Maybe we just Essence Capture this. I don't want them Scrying every turn, right? It does that? Yeah. Don't get the value out of our Essence Capture, but we get to use it like an Essence Scatter, and our opponent's in 2 cards to our turn 5 Sphinx. Never mind. Throw it is. Definitely use all my mana here. How come I never opened this card? Does this card exist? Is that a real card? Alright, opponent's going to continue attacking. I'm going to play Sphinx of New Prov here. Get more pressure on board. My life total's high enough. I don't have to worry too much here. I think the opponent's on all spells. Angelic Exaltation. That's going to be good, but not super, super good, right? Plus Summary Judgment. All right, they're out of cards. Okay. Yeah, you get in the same amount of damage just attacking with Chillbringer here. Alright, let's see. Zorius Guildgate. So let's go attack for 4. And let's go in Wall Mage's Bind and Chillbringer right now. They can still attack for 3 with the Pegasus, but that's fine. We're going to have Swirling Torrent next turn. Yeah, so let's lock down Chillbringer. Let's Guildgate. If they play a creature, then we're going to take 4 down to 9. But we can race that with Swirling Torrent. Yeah, I was going to say they should crack Locket pre-combat here. In case they draw a creature, they can play it. Yep. Pretty good. Swirling Torrent's going to be fine, but they're going to be able to replay both these Pegases. Okay, another Sphinx. Go and attack. Opponent never blocks here. Could get down another Sphinx here. I think we just Swirling Torrent though. And it doesn't matter which one we do to one because they're the same card. This does make it so my opponent's not drawing something else next turn though. They're just going to draw back into the Sphinx. So we know 2 Sphinxes and an unknown card. Sphinges. Or I'm sorry, 2 Pegasuses, not 2 Sphinges. And we can attack into them this turn. Lots of Sphinx's Insights. So let's attack. Again, Sphinx is basically safe from everything here except a pump spell on their creature. Go and play another Sphinx. That way we have lethal on board. Senate Courier's fine. So Pegasus can attack for what, 5 now? Sure. No blocks. They're going to have to chump one of my Sphinges. Alright, let's go ahead and... I guess I should cast Sphinx's Insight pre-combat, just have a little bit more information here. So I assume Concordia Pegasus is going to jump in front of 1 Sphinx here. And then they're going to go down to 2. Alright, Insight, tap in the black mana. The 2 life here is very relevant. Ooh, perfect. Rester's Admonition. Go ahead and bounce Courier. Make him use up some of their mana next turn. Alright, well, I think we've definitely got it here. Maybe not. I'm probably going to just block Concordia Pegasus. They probably don't attack me, though, unless they can kill me somehow, and I don't see how they do that through 2 Sphinxes. Alright, cool. So opponent never saw their high alert. Assuming they had high alert. Exaltation does a pretty good job, too. And, get to pull ourselves out from underneath this rug with our quote-unquote gate deck. Look, to be fair, we have drawn a couple cards off Gateway Sneak because we've played Gate, so kind of doing the trick. We do have at least one more match before we break even. I think our deck is really good, so I want to get to that point. We're going to keep playing here, go into match 4. Stay tuned. See you there. All right, easy mole. Guess keep. Yeah, I'll keep that land on top. Admonition into Insight can hopefully buy us time and get us into a game that we're far behind in. I don't love the Girl Guildgate here against this hand. Let's see, no 2-drop's fine for me though. New 2-drop is reasonable. We've got a stabilizing hand here, I should say. The blue mana makes me a little unsettled because that always means some nonsense. Swamps. There's a lot of swamps. Alright, let's go and run out Admonition. Next turn, Skitter Eel. Or maybe that. Probably not that, but possibly that. Hopefully their best play is just the Rubble Belt again. Here's to hoping. Alright, it was a Rubble Belt, so we get to run out Skitter Eel. They have a 1-drop? 1-drop blue spell. What is that? 1-drop blue spell. I'm kind of blanking here. Help me out. 1-drop blue spell. Terramander? They have a Terramander in their hand? Alright, lots of mana. If they attack, make them use a trick? Nah. It's just not block here. I'm going to play Chillbringer next turn. Probably. If they don't cast anything, then I'm worried about Frilled Mystic, so I won't cast anything into their open mana. But if they just cast a creature here, I'll probably cast my Chillbringer. Steeple Creeper. Alright, they could still have Quench through that, which is a potential reason not to play anything. Well, we'll get Quenched if they have Quench. Alright, let's go ahead and keep old Steeple Creeper tapped down, I suppose. This is a matchup where all of our Sky Tethers and what's it called? Sky Tethers and Slime Binds are going to be great. We just take 2 mana to downgrade their creatures. Alright, I like that my opponent's playing Brush Strider on turn 6 and not like, I don't know, Rumbling, Slumblin, or whatever. Here, I'm going to go just attack with Chillbringer, and then I can hold up mana here for either Depose or Skitter Eel. I don't think I need to Depose plus activate Skitter Eel, so can run out this Guild Gates. Yeah. And 2U opponent. No instant. Didn't feel like they had a way to deal with Chillbringer there. Oh, I guess one reason to actually play an untapped source there is so I can adapt Skitter Eel, and then if they try to kill it in response, I can adapt it again. So maybe it was right to just play a basic there. Kind of want to deploy, though. Ooh, especially if they go for this. Yeah, especially if they go for the attack for 4. Alright, I'm going to deploy. This gains us 4 life and kill Steeple Creeper, which I think is a good place to be. They want to use a trick here. Hopefully it's not Collision, or Colossus, I should say. Hopefully it's not Colossus. But I don't think my opponent has Colossus, otherwise they'd be swinging with more creatures. Duelist, alright, definitely wasn't expecting that. That seemed a little unlikely given how our opponent has played so far. Why not attack with more creatures then? Alright, let's go ahead and Sphinx's Insight first. To some non-lands, hopefully. Those are non-lands. Adapt now while my opponent's virtually tapped out. And then attack with Chillbringer. Sitting behind this 5/5 on defense. If they deal with it, they've got 10, 11 damage coming in, which is a lot. Open the gates. Not super powerful here. Basically deck thinning for mana, which I can respect. Simic Guild Gate, sure. Alright, 2 cards in hand from the opponent. I'm expecting we'll see a jump with Steeple Creeper here, unless they want to block Chillbringer. Could use another Sphinx's Insight or another Chillbringer, more Grasp and Throws, things along those lines. Alright, and they're not blocking with Duelist, so they're going to jam. Alright, draw a spell. Draw a spell. Ooh, double Sphinx. Blue, blue, white, white. White, white, blue, blue. Yeah, we can cast these. I need to play a white source, right? 1, 2, hold on a second. White, blue, blue, white. Yeah, I need to play Oh, I can't play double Sphinx, can I? I need 8 total colored sources that aren't black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I can't. Alright. Well, I think I'm going to attack with both here. No, I mean, that's holding them back. Making it so that they have to jump Steeple Creeper. Yeah, that swamp's hurting us a little bit here. That's fine, though. We get to play another Sphinx next turn. It's not the worst. Grasp and Throw would be an awesome draw. Grasp and Throw, Chillbringer, Swirling Torrent, all of our high-end cards. Sky Tether would be nice. Worth noting, if you put Sky Tether on Steeple Creeper and then they activate in response, okay, never mind, we're just dead. Sure. 3, 10, 16, 26 damage coming in. Guess we're not just dead. This card's messed up. Alright, so how do we block? We can't save any of our creatures, so let's just do some theoretical blocking. Block like that, we take 7, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's exact Cs. Is that the most we can prevent? Well, let's just add it up real quick. 10, 16, 26 damage, and we have 8 that prevent. Yeah, this is exact. This is exact no matter how we block. Sure. Yep, that is exact damage. Gross. Feel like we were pretty far ahead, and then our opponent played Craterhoof Behemoth. Good to know about, though. Good to know about. Had we played another Sphinx there, we could have survived. Don't know if we would have been in good shape after that, but that's a tough card to deal with. I kind of want, like, all of these here. Maybe even Twilight Panther. And what do we not want? What do we not want? Don't really need Skitter Eel or Viscopa Vampire. This is just something to trade off early. Alright, let's not bring in the Panther. Let's bring out Skitterbutt. I like the Arrester's Admonitions. I like all of the tempo cards. I guess let's not overdo it. 1 less Slime Bind. And all the counter spells are good. I guess Viscopa Vampire is one of our worst cards. Okay. Take out some creatures, bring in some removal, call it a day. Oh, this is how you lose games. Alright. Jeez, this isn't good either. Scry Plains to the top would be amazing. Well, sorry guys. I don't control the mulligans. I don't control the opening hands. But that was not a keepable hand, and this is far from being a good hand. If we draw a Plains, then it gets somewhere. Because Sky Tether can hold off an early blocker, Sphinx's Insight can draw us into more action, but our opponent kept 7, they've got good late game. That was a good draw. That is both our white and our black mana. So we just need one more land, really, to kind of get off the ground. Sure, we're going to go ahead and Sky Tether this right away, I think. Maybe we don't need to use that right away. No, we should Sky Tether that right now, because if we draw land, we're going to clearly just use all of our mana. We might not have another chance to Sky Tether that. And this makes it a no-go threat right away. They're probably going to play something a little bit better, of course. Yeah, Gatebreaker Ram's good. We didn't want to see our opponent's best draw into our mulligan, but we get to play Sphinx of New Prov coming down. And if they play a gate, if they attack, am I supposed to trade? I think I'm supposed to trade. Maybe not, because I have Fairy Duelist. Tough decision there. Wow, okay. It's obnoxious. Sure. Alright, you got it, opponent. You got it. See if they attack with this other ram. Probably don't. It's good news for me. Alright, so attack for 4. And I can play Thrall or just Fairy Duelist. I think I'm supposed to just play the Thrall. They're going to play a Guildgate and attack me for 8. I could trade the Sphinx, or I could still hold up Fairy Duelist here. I do not like where this is going. Double Gatebreaker Ram's obnoxious. Where were our Gatebreaker Rams? This is what we tried to draft. We wanted gates. We asked for it, and we did not receive. All right, what you got? Another Gatebreaker Ram, another Open the Gates. All right, so we are going to have to face these down as 5/5s next turn, which is what I was worried about, because Fairy Duelist makes it so that if they're 4/4s, we can deal with them. But it's fine. We might be able to race this. We do have a 2-turn clock just right here. Growth Spiral. Oh, okay. That gets the clock ahead. Nice play from the opponent there. So another gate makes these lethal. All right, another Thrall, though. All right, so I think I'm just supposed to play another Thrall. Put our opponent to 5, dead to 2 of our guys. They need a gate plus another spell, and I also have the Sphinx to block if I really need to. So first things first, let's see if they play a gate here. They did not, so they're still 5/5s. Any combination of 2 of my flyers survive until next turn is lethal. Assuming they don't play a Mammoth Spider or something like that. There's no reason for them really not to attack with these Rams. Collision Colossus kills us, but whatever. They have it, they have it. First round opponent had the Sentinel's mark. Second round, third round opponent might have the Colossus. Alright. Could have Root Snare. Alright, that doesn't do anything. Oh, please don't have Root Snare. Okay, cool. Opponent's not even making us play it out. Huh. Alright, opponent's got the beats. Sky Tether definitely staying in. Slimebind is fine against their other creatures. It just makes me want this more. Like, that's all they have is big creatures. Swirl and Torrent seems okay here. I just think all of these spells might be a little bit too much. I could see cutting a Sphinx's Insight here, but just have all of this removal. Deal with every creature they play, and then win with our flyers. That's the name of the game. Well, we're definitely going to mull this hand. Come on, Arena. Every time I get to this point... Ah, God, what is this? Do I mull this? Do I go down to 5? Opponent mulled as well. Every time I get to the point where, like, I'm playing for real games, I have to mull. Opponent's going down to 5. That's something, right? That is something. Now, we're going to need to draw something relevant here in between now and Swirl and Torrent. Open the gates, okay. An early Ram is still really good whether they mold to 5 or not. So I would love to just draw some sort of action. Of course I draw a swamp of all things. Alright, let me see the Ram. Growth Spiral, sure. They hit a land off of it. Alright, Chillbringer's good. I like Chillbringer. I would love to just draw... What do we take out? We took out a Sphinx's Insight, right? Alright, they do have a Ram. But no land to follow up with. Okay. And this is fine. Draw something to do this turn, I feel okay. Okay, Thought Collapse is good. It doesn't stop them from just playing, say, another gate and making this a threat, but now we get to Thought Collapse anything they play this turn. They do have a gate. Still fine. Run out this Fairy Duelist now. I think I'm going to be okay here, but it's not amazing for me. Yeah, let's go ahead and let that happen. Hoping they just cast something I can Thought Collapse this turn, because I'm going to be using my mana for further turns. Let's go and tap your boy down. This buys me a little bit of time. I can Swirl and Torrent next turn. So we've got a game on our hand. The mold of 5 and the mold of 6. It's working out, just showing how ridiculous of a card Gatebreaker Ram is, really. Alright, Mammoth Spider's fine. Zorius Guildgate. Let's go ahead and Torrent. Go both modes. Again, it never matters which one you do to which. Let's put Mammoth Spider on top. Bounce Ram. Good little tempo play there. I'm kind of hoping they play Mammoth Spider so that I can Thought Collapse the Ram. Because Mammoth Spider doesn't threaten me too much. Could also just play like a big 6-drop here or something. Or double Ram would be pretty bad. They might play the Spider. Yeah, on account that I can attack them. Alright, Sky Tether was great. Oh, actually this can still block through Sky Tether, right? Yeah, it doesn't lose reach, it loses flying. Interesting interaction. Alright, we're gonna just pass here. And Thought Collapse this Ram. Sky Tether. Actually, probably let the Ram resolve now because of the Sky Tether. I don't think they attack here. They could. I can't really go for a big block or anything, so I'm just going to take it. And then what's next? Enraged Ceratok. That's pretty good. Just Thought Collapse that? Yeah. Knowing that I have an answer for Gatebreaker Ram here, I think that's fine. Admonition, Gift of Strength to the graveyard. And untap. Ooh, okay, Grasp and Throw is great. We'll go ahead and Cham with Chillbringer. You got Stony Strength, you got it. Now just need to find a way to deal with Mammoth Spider. Alright, pass turn. Pass the turn. This little neck and neck. Could use some card draw. I did board out a Sphinx's Insight, which is a little disgusting. Rubble Belt Runner, sure. And Gatebreaker Ram. Ram's only a 4/4. It's not huge. Mammoth Spider coming in still? Didn't think so. Ooh, Admonition's awesome. Let's go and get Mammoth Spider out of the way for a turn. And let's tap black mana for that. This lets me swing for 6. Makes another Admonition lethal next turn. Ooh, Sphinx of New Prov as well. Alright, that means I'm lethal with just attacking. So I can play Sphinx plus Sky Tether. So they're going to need more than just Mammoth Spider next turn. Because if any 2 of my flyers get through, that's lethal. I can also just jam everything in and use Fairy Duelist to shrink Mammoth Spider. So I can attack with everything. Same kind of combat tricks get me, but they need more than just a combat trick. No way I'm blocking. No way ever am I blocking. Alright, let's see what the opponent's got here. Something like land, Mammoth Spider, Gift of Strength would do the trick, at least to survive, since this can still gain reach and block. I love it. Vigilance, Trample, Defender, no flying. Ooh, Depose is nice as well. In case they flash in something here. They didn't play Mammoth Spider though, so if they go for Gift of Strength, we've got Depose. Alright, Duelist. Duelist is fine. But the Duelist is going to chump block, so I don't think I do anything drastic here. they go for a combat trick, I can duelist back. Could have gone for depose on the flyer there, tapped it before blocks, and then just won, but they're in the same position this turn. And I don't want to get blown out by anything. Sure, Rebel Belt's fine. What if I just die to like Electro Dominance plus like Collision or something? This can gain me 6 life though if I need it. I can flash and duelist and then gain 6. I don't think it's going to do the trick. Ooh. We're going to beat the Moldify with our Mold-A-6. Looks like it. That could be the you're dead good game. But it's not. That's the genuine good game. The hey, we played a good game of Magic, I lost. Congrats. Not the hey, I beat you good game. Alright, cool. That was a dicey one. What in the world? That must be from having something we already opened, I guess. Alright, 3 and 1. So still playing with our Gates deck, which is just Esper control. But yeah, let's keep playing. See you there. Alright, match, what is this? Match number 5, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to keep this hand. Again, very slow, but combination of reactive spells, drawing lands, gets us to cast in more stuff. You know, just explain how Magic works. Also, our opponent Mulligan, they're playing Gruul, which I have a pretty good hand against. Slimebind, Sky Tether, so on and so forth. Teamer again, though. Teamer. I'm just going to play my Guild Gate here. Opponent has like Gruul Spellbreaker or something, then whatever. Couldn't do anything about it anyway. Gateway Sneak, probably going to bite a Slimebind here. Could also use the Fairy Duelist. Could play my Viscopa Vampire. I don't really want them drawing cards, though. So I could wait a turn on the Viscopa Vampire. Let's just Sky Tether. No, you know what? We can hold up Duelist here. This is fine. We can use Duelist or Slimebind. They get us with a counterspell, but so be it. Go ahead and just pop down Duelist. I guess if we wanted to play around the most spells possible, we would play Slimebind, since it doesn't get countered by Essence Capture. But I think Slimebind's going to be a little bit more useful against other creatures. They should probably still just attack here. Oh, eyes everywhere, huh? There are eyes everywhere. Good card to know about. Let's go and just jam Viscopa Vampire. And are we Skybinding your stupid Gateway Sneak? Probably. Oh no. Let's attack with Vampire first. See if they want to trade for the Vampire. Because I would be all over that. Oh, never mind. Can't do that. Sure. Skybind your Sneak. No free cards for you. No free cards. You do have to be a little bit careful about eyes everywhere. So the way you play against this card is you have to play out something juicy enough that they want to target, that they want to swap for it, and then you just keep this for the rest of the game unless they play something that's just irresistibly good to get rid of. Or you wait until, yeah, you have an Arrester's Admonition, and you bounce your own dude. Ooh, Swirling Torrent, very good against eyes everywhere. So, like, now I'm going to attack and probably just play a Chillbringer. I don't see a reason not to run out my Chillbringer. I would like to have the 6th land before I do something like that, though. Yeah, let's just run out Chili Bee here. This only targets opponent's creatures, apparently. Yeah. Alright, now we're incentivizing them to swap for Chillbringer here, since it's the most threatening card on board. We're not too worried if they do, because Swirling Torrent will give us our Chillbringer back at some point, and then we will permanently have the eyes everywhere. Which is just a free scry every turn. I found this card plays really well against Gate Colossus. They can just never run out Gate Colossus. You grab it, and then, boom, they're down their Colossus. Rampage and Renhorn, probably with a counter. Ooh, another Chillbringer? That was a great draw. Some chilly boys. Attacking for 7 this turn and gaining 3 life. mean, scry 1 every turn is not negligible. We would play a card like this in our deck if we weren't against super aggressive decks, but if I was playing against Rakdos or something, I would board it out. Alright, here comes Sneak into something else, I assume. Oh, Fight Spell. Okay, Titanic Brawl, sure. Alright, now would be a great time to draw that land for the Swirling Torrent. Arrester's Admonition plays just fine. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure, let's go ahead and bounce Sneak again. This is what we want our deck to be doing, just playing the all-out tempo game. Okay, Guildgate, so that gives us the Swirling Torrent next turn, and assuming they tap out or something, I don't think we're going to lose this game. Could get got by Fairy Duelist here. Slimebind, sure. Opponent's still going down to 4. And we have Depose to tap a flyer, Swirling Torrent to get rid of multiple things, and Lethal on board despite the Slimebind. Alright, this Sneak really wants to hit the board. Alright, so we've got it here. We'll go ahead and tap down Renhorn and then Swirling Torrent and attack for lethal. Just tapping Renhorn since it can attack this turn. No real reason to do much of anything. And I guess we kind of have the perfect draw this time. As much as I complain about my opponents having the perfect draw, we just felt ahead this whole game. And we get to end the game at 29, which is kind of ridiculous. When did we even gain life? Oh, the Vampire. Sure, Viscopa Vampire getting in there. Also attack with the -1 just to send a message. So here's an example of Eyes Everywhere not being that great. It's really good when your opponent plays something that's just leaps and bounds better than everything else, hence the reason I said it's good against Colossus. Target creature you control. Alright, well if you do this in response to Eyes Everywhere, the exchange doesn't happen, they just get to keep the eyes. This is another matchup where like Sky Tether and Slimebind are really good, and I still don't really think Skitter Eel is what I want here. Especially against an opponent playing like Renhorn, they're just going to have ways to deal with it. So, game 2 coming up. See you there. Alright, easy mull. Opponent also mulligan. You guys didn't see it, but I'm going to mull again. Mull again. Our opponent did some pretty extensive sideboarding. Fortunately, we're going to go down to 5 here with our first play being a 5-drop. So, we'll see how this goes, but... Okay, run out of Guildgate and pass. I just die here. Opponent plays like any 2-drop, we just die to it. Also a really good 2-drop. Sure. Opponent can cast an Enraged Ceratok this turn. Or a Gateway Sneak. Alright, Hero is a blocker. Hero does block. Would have said that would have been better last turn, but really wouldn't have been that much better at all. Killing my hero? They're 1 away from adapting this, make it a 3-5. Alright, opponent sitting here playing the game, like, just play your gate and attack. They might be making a decision whether to get in with the Sneak or play a 5-drop, so you don't know for sure. But I'm not a big fan of when there's like an obvious decision and the opponent doesn't play it. Okay, Eyes Everywhere, sure. Another Chillbringer, sure. Bunch of Garbo. Yeah, like I said, a bunch of Chillbringers isn't going to get there. I mean, maybe it will. We're going to start deploying them next turn. Opponent's not threatening us with too much. I didn't see whether they scried top or bottom there. But I see a world where we play Chillbringer, keep one of their creatures down. Okay, Admonition. They're going to be up a lot of cards here. They're already up 3 cards on their mull to 6 with the Sneak plus the Admonition. Not a good place to be for us. They're just going to card advantage us out here. Combine Guildmage, sure, I guess it's good here. Alright, Sky Tether, a little bit late. Time to start bringing the pain with the Chillbringers. Yeah, let's just keep Sneak down. They can adapt Incubation Druid, but that's fine. Hopefully we draw a gold spell. Go like hero into Law Mage's Binding. Be fine. The good news is, even though the opponent's, drawn a bunch of extra cards, we're pretty even on mana, and I haven't taken a lot of damage, right? Opponent's on 3 cards here. Wouldn't even mind seeing them just go swap with Chillbringer. But I imagine they're going to go ahead and adapt Incubation Druid. That would be my guess. They might just have something better to cast in their hand. Alright, Savage Smash is kind of gross. I think they could have adapted this and then cast Savage Smash. So not the best use of mana there, but it's fine. Okay, Guild Gates. We're probably going to go Chillbringer plus Sky Tether here. So let's go ahead and... it's kind of interesting which one we do which on. I'm gonna... Yeah, I mean, they've already got plenty of mana. Doing Sky Tether on Incubation Druid is fine. They can still use the activated ability on it. Alright, now we need to draw some gas. Sphinx of New Prov. Couldn't cast that plus hero, though. Sphinx's Insight would be fantastic. Scry to the bottom. Alright, let's see what you got, opponent. Need them to, like, take my guy. Okay, playing a big creature this turn. Ooh, into a 5/5 haste. Alright, probably losing this game. Yes, attack. That is what you want to do. Okay, our draw is Essence Capture. Not exactly amazing, but reasonable. So now they take Chillbringer and kill us. That's also how you should play Eyes Everywhere, is use it to steal a blocker on the last turn before you're ready to attack. It wasn't good last game. It's going to be really good this game if our opponent wants to use it. Weird that they chose not to. I mean, I'm not going to double block here, even though I probably should. It just leaves us with nothing, and then anything we play is going to get snatched for the win. Hopefully they go Guild Mage into something. Yeah, that's just not going to be a good enough draw. Alright, flooded a lot here on our mold of 5. Or did we mold a 6? I don't remember. Let's scribe to the top. Just too much card advantage into our mold just makes this really bad. Sure, you got us. You got us, opponent. You got us. We'll go to game 3 here. And hopefully just draw a little bit better. Playing a bunch of Chillbringers on turn 3 and 4 doesn't really do the trick. Or I'm sorry, 4 and 5, not 3 and 4. Portal, yeah, Portal's still bad. I mean, Slimebind still looks good here. Scope of Vampire looks horrendous. It was good in game 1, but I don't expect it to be very good. So let's bring in another Slimebind and call it a day. See you in game 3. Alright, yeah, we'll keep this hand. It's not amazing. It does deal with our opponent's first couple threats nicely. Why'd I run out Simic Guild Gate? Supposed to run out of Azorius there. It's fine. Alright, Arrester's Admonition, also pretty good there. See if our opponent's got a 2-drop. Just skip your second. Skip your 2. Skip your 2. Alright, Combound Guild Mage, fine. Alright, Sky Tether, not a bad draw. I am going to play Plains and just pass the turn here, holding up Thought Collapse or Law Mage's Binding. Probably going to use Thought Collapse. Got a lot of answers right now, but no threats. Alright, Eyes Everywhere. Should we counter that? I don't think so. I have an Arrester's Admonition in hand. I think I just want to go ahead and Law Mage's Bind in this. And just keep playing for the long game. Let's get down our black mana in case we draw... what they call it, in case we draw a Grasp and Throw. I mean, the Scry 1's really good for our opponent, but we've neutralized the one threat they have on board. We have an answer to them using Eyes Everywhere on our first major threat, and we've got a counter spell to kind of deal with things right now. So we kind of need to draw a threat. That's not super threatening, but we can play it, still hold up Thought Collapse. The Gruul Locket, definitely not worth countering there. Note, actually, does Law Mage's Binding stop activate? It does stop activated abilities. Titanic Brawl, killing both of them. Sure. I don't think that's worth fighting over. Would be nice to get a little bit of value out of her guy. But at least, I mean, this wasn't doing anything for him. They can't Arrester's Admonition it back to their own hand anymore. Next spell they play, if it's like just a big Rendhorn or something, I'm going to probably take a hit and then Sky Tether it. I would just like to save Thought Collapse for a game-changing card. Yeah, Steeple Creeper, we can Sky Tether that. Again, they can give it flying if my opponent knows that. There we go, that's a good draw. So, is this spells and abilities? Cast the target, costs 2 more to cast. Alright, so they don't have to pay extra to take that, but I am going to go ahead and play it and then Sky Tether their Steeple Creeper. And this is a pretty good target for them to take with Eyes Everywhere. It would use their whole turn, and then I use basically my whole turn to Admonition it back to my hand. But then I'm the one with the Eyes Everywhere on board. Alright, Senate Griffin, so they're not going to go for that play. Ooh, Essence Capture would have been pretty good last turn. Could go Admonition here now, but I still want to play the Admonition against their Eyes Everywhere. Gonna take a hit from Senate Griffin here. Opponent's been doing a lot of scries to the top, which is fine. It means this basically isn't doing anything. Also means they're not finding lands. Alright, Admonition your dude back to your hand. Sure. And we can Essence Capture that on the way back down. Hopefully they do it pre-combat. They did, so now they can't attack us this turn. And we can attack them next turn. And again, it's starting to look like they should probably use their eyes. Use your special eyes. Alright, now, having another Arrester's Admonition in hand, I'm going to definitely get rid of Griffin. Okay, playing out my lands here. If they just replay Griffin, I'm going to say sure. My opponent might not know that they can target this. Usually abilities like this are spells or abilities, but they can. They don't have to pay 2 extra to target it with an ability. Would like to draw one more threat. Just Thought Collapse that. Just keep the pressure on my opponent, make it so they have to keep dealing with my cards. Wow. Slimebind plus Mammoth Spider to the graveyard. Incubation Druid, sure. Gateway Sneak, pretty good draw. Not like amazing. I've already got, what, all of my gates in the play? Alright, let's get sneaky. The game's not over yet. Like, I am playing with them in mind, having the Eyes Everywhere on the Sphinx, but they're not doing it. And that means I gotta kind of hold my Arrester's Admonition in hand. Chillbringer, sure. Chillbringer, fine. Not great. I would love to draw one of my Chillbringers. Card draw, flyers, grasping thralls, all that good stuff I keep talking about. Whirling Torrent would be great here with Gateway Sneak on board. And, yeah, that's a Thrall. Thrall's a good draw. They've got, oh, they've got 2 mana up. They could cast something here. They've got a stop as well, so Titanic Brawl? That doesn't seem right. They could cast Titanic Brawl to take out Gateway Sneak or just trade Chillbringer. I think they're better suited to wait if they have Titanic Brawl because they can adapt this and then actually just kill the Thrall without trading. Like I said, this game's not completely over. Depends on what they play here. I do have 8 power on board with flying creatures and a removal spell in hand. Part of me thinks my opponent is just playing very well around my flyers, and part of me thinks my opponent doesn't know that I can do that. So here, this is how you lose games, boys. So assuming our opponent has Titanic Brawl, if I just attack with this, yeah, that's going to be my only attack. Playing around Fairy Artisan would be annoying. Alright, Slimebind, sure. Alright, sure. And then they can block the 1. Okay, well that wasn't a blowout. Now we're kind of at parity here. Does mean my opponent has no real reason to use the Eyes Everywhere, so I think I'm still just going to pass here. Sphinx of New Prof still blocks. I guess we can't really count on Titanic Brawl anymore because they were holding Slimebind. I've already used 1 Titanic Brawl. You normally don't play more than that. They're not crack. Oh, they can't crack their locket. Yes, they can. They can with the Incubation Druid. All right, Skitter Eel is fine. Alright, what are we doing this turn? Apparently drawing nothing. So if I Arrester's Admonition Chillbringer back to the hand, then take 4. They replay Chillbringer. I could also Arrester's Admonition Sphinx back to my hand. I need to get up on cards somehow here. This is making it so that they never draw lands. Trade Grasping Thrall for Chillbringer? Huh. I think I'm supposed to give it just 1 more draw step here. Alright, we'll go and pass the turn. They're going to adapt Skitter Eel. Now we got to deal with that. So they have a threat on board. Could triple block it. And my opponent's been, playing pretty well. I think a lot of people would have snapped this off at some point. Fortunately for us, they've played around not having to use it and just using it as card advantage, virtual card advantage. I'm not blocking Skitter Eel. Go and take the hit here. Bush Strider, sure. Bush Strider's fine. I do need to draw a spell here. That's not it. I feel like I'm priced into using my Admonition now to just try and hit spells. I'm going to go ahead and bounce Skitter Eel. Give us a turn off from that into Fairy Duelist. That's not actually a terrible draw. So now I'm going to attack with Grasping Thrall. Should probably attack with the Sphinx there too. Alright, let's go ahead and flash in Duelist, shrink down Chillbringer. Hope they don't have a super relevant last card. And this eats Chillbringer. Nope, their last card is something relevant. Look at that. Code of Constraint, sure. Jeez, okay. Opponent was ready. Scry to the bottom. Opponent was ready for us. Skitter Eel coming back down. And here's where we lose to Eyes Everywhere. We have 11 lands. Yeah, I think we're going to lose this game. It feels like we're losing at this point. They're going to be able to adapt multiple creatures here. Yeah, I don't know how to get ahead of them now. Not too worried about the 3/5. They could have adapted this too, right? With this. They've got the Locket going. Wish I just had like Screaming Shield here. I don't think I blocked this turn. You can see Swirling Torrent getting there. Okay. Cracking the Locket finally. Okay. Opponent's got plenty of mana here. Wow. All right. Shafted. Completely shafted. All right. We got to go for some sort of multi-block on Skitter Eel now, and we're just going to get blown out. And the Eyes Everywhere did fantastic work for our opponent here. It's getting to the point where they can just nab my 3/3 flyer, and I'm just not going to have good blocks anymore. I mean, I've got to go for some sort of multi-block against this thing. And see what we get blown out by. 4 cards in opponent's hand, infinite mana. They just trade for Grasp and Thrall, and that's best case scenario for me. But I don't see how I'm getting through their 10 life and their whatchamacallit. Yep, they have a Duelist. They get to eat a dude here. Disgusting. And we're going to lose to a common. That's fair. Flooded at the end here, but it's fine. Slimebind, huh? Slimebind's a little bit late to be super relevant. Well, I had a plan this game. It didn't work out. I think we drew a couple too many lands, and our opponent's virtual card advantage has done the trick. Never having to even swap here. Opponent's played very well here. I'm sure there was a point where I could have used Arrester's Admonition to try and push in a win, but then my opponent does swap, and suddenly I don't have a way to get my Sphinx back. What is this expensive nonsense? Rendhorn? Yeah, my opponent's got too many threats for me to deal with 1v1 now. I don't have like a precognitive perception in my deck or anything along those lines. And my blockers aren't really good either. And your last card is Titanic Brawl? Or Savage Smash? Okay, +2/+2. Well, that's not going to work, thankfully. It's not that good, though, because they can just attack with all these other things. Like, this is lethal. And I have to block here. Here, take 2, 5, 8, 9. Go to 1 and draw some magical top deck nonsense. Root Snare. Okay, Chillbringer is the type of card that could help. Guess hit with the Gateway Sneak and see what's up. Okay, sure. Well, let's go and give our opponent the GG. They got us. Alright, opponent just overwhelmed us with a card advantage there, unfortunately for us. And that puts us back at a 3-2 again. I still really hate that I lost that first match, because this is the type of match where I can feel fine losing. I had the choice to Thought Collapse the Eyes Everywhere, and turns out that probably would have been the right thing to do, since it stopped me from playing optimally. But had I played in the quote-unquote optimal way with the Eyes Everywhere there, they would have stolen a creature, and I would have lost my own creature, I think. So we end at 3-2 with our quote-unquote Gates deck featuring Gateway Sneak, which drew a card in the last turn of the game, so relevant, right? And we broke even at least. I think our deck was sweet. It just petered out a little bit too much on mulligans, and that's that. Again, if you tell me in the comments below that you want me to do another Gates draft, I will, because this wasn't really much of a Gates draft, right? 1 gate payoff, 5 gates. Doesn't really constitute a gate deck. That's just a good Esper deck. So let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, we're going to open some rares I don't care too much about. And last one, give me a shock land. All right, I'll take that. Why do I never open this in draft? All right, that's that. So thanks for watching. This is it for Bifrost. Unless I hear from you guys, this is it. I might do a little cheeky Goblin Gathering deck or something like that, but don't expect it too much. Anyway, thank you for watching. Appreciate all my supporters. Appreciate all the subscribers. Anyone who comments and lets me know that you're watching. Thank you, because there's plenty of Magic content, especially nowadays. And if you're spending it here, I definitely appreciate it. So with all that being said, thanks for watching Bifrost. My name is Timothy with Mana Rocks, and I'll see y'all next time.